14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Episode 45 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM, and Willimantic Today Facebook. Keith C. Rice back in here. Of course, Hometown Threads airs every Tuesday at 5:05 on the radio, and then you can catch up with it on Willimantic Today Facebook. Big thanks to Willimantic Today. Big thanks to our sponsor, of course, Liberty Bank. Be community kind with three great local locations. West Main Street, Willimantic, and Gateway Commons. Across the street from the radio station, 679 Main Street, Willimantic, and Route 195 in Mansfield. Liberty Bank. Be community kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you wouldn't mind, and say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
And here we go, episode 45 of Hometown Threads, and just kicking off year number 2. We did that last week with Josh Niles, and what a successful Willimantic Holiday Light Parade. Before we get to our guest, I just want to say Willimantic brought it last Friday night. Biggest and best Holiday Light Parade on record. And it was, believe it or not, I'm ashamed to admit this, it was my first Holiday Light Parade, and it won't be my last, because that was, despite the cold temperatures, great job by Willimantic and everyone involved, so looking forward to next year already. All right, let's bring in our guest here for episode 45. You may know the face, you may know the voice, Brian Bigelow. That's Brian with a Y, if you're keeping score at home.
Frankie.
Great to have Brian Bigelow on here from Bigelow Plumbing, LLC.
Yes, correct.
And Brian, let's get right from the start. I hear a Massachusetts accent, Brian. That's not an Eastern Connecticut accent, so I'm going to assume you're not born and raised here, right?
That is correct. I was actually from Somerset, Mass. Suburb of that everybody would probably know would be Fall River. And
say Fall River again.
Fall River.
I love it. Tell me you're a Red Sox fan.
I am, but primarily Celtics. I'm a big Celtics fan.
Me too.
Me
too. We'll have to talk about that after. I'm down on the Red Sox now, but we all are. But yes, Celtics. If they stay healthy. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Porzingis is hurt.
Yeah. I love how he says Porzingis too. Look at that. Porzingis. Yeah, that's what I was worried about too.
Yeah.
But I think they'll be all right. But so I've got to put him in bubble wrap or something. But anyway, So go ahead. Fall River.
Yeah. I went to school in Rhode Island, Providence, Johnson, Wales. I was actually a computer science major.
Oh.
My uncle was a plumber, because you're wondering, how did you get into plumbing?
Where's the plumbing connection here?
Yeah, I worked with my uncle for a long time. He was a commercial plumber. And it's kind of a funny story, because while I was in school, I met this girl, actually at a nightclub, believe it or not. And a year later, I ended up in Connecticut, and I had my first son. We moved to Mansfield. I was working part-time at UPS in Warwick.
Now, what year was this?
Oh, God, you're going to make me try to remember that, huh?
Well, roughly.
It's probably early 2000s, I want to say.
Early 2000s.
Yeah,
okay, in that
2000s.
area.
Sorry, just...
That's all right. You met the girl at the nightclub, but how did you end up in Mansfield again?
So she was from here.
She's from here. Okay.
Yeah. And we decided to have a child, moved to Mansfield. And while I was here, I got tired of the commute back and forth from Mansfield to Warwick. So I said, I want to do plumbing. And I had looked, and Rickier was hiring for apprentices.
Okay.
And it was a lengthy process. It was a 6-year run to get that, to be able to test out for the P2 at the time.
What's the piece?
So the process works, you have to get so many on-job training with, say, Rickier or whatever company you're working for. They register you with the state, and then you have to attend school. Regardless of my degree.
Plumbing school?
Yes. You have to go through if you didn't attend initially through a tech school, you do have to go through the requirement for, whatever classes are required for the P2 at the time. But it was a 5 to 9 type of deal where...
While you were working UPS?
No, I had left UPS, started the apprenticeship,
No,
with
gotcha.
Rickier.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then, I stood with Alan for 6 years and finished my apprenticeship. And then I left and I went to Vernon, to a company called Ray Page.
Okay.
And the difference is now, I know it's just that, basically Alan's more of a hometown guy and Ray Page is more of a marketing, like the bigger companies. So I got great experience from both of them. And I usually try to take something from every company, but I knew I wanted to be on my own. I knew I didn't want to just work for somebody. So at some point, I want to say 2 or 3 years after Ray Page, I said I want to do this on my own. And that's where
So you felt confident enough only 2 or 3 years after to say, hey, let's give this a shot. I mean, it's got to be kind of scary to start your own business, but I mean, that's good that you had the confidence to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm third generation business owner. My mother's side, her father ran a hardware store. My mother ran a salon and a variety store.
Another family business owner here. We've had a few of those at Hometown Threads. Yeah.
But I love the aspect of getting to know people, and I like a variety of meeting new people. Every face is different, and generally I have a good customer base overall, and over the years it's been great. Just getting newer people. I do a lot of commercial, I do a lot of local businesses here in Willimantic.
Yeah, go ahead and drop some names where you were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, Domino's Pizza, I do all of their work. Dunkin' Donuts, the ones that Ashley Jose owns.
Sure, we had Jerry Jose on recently.
Yes, yep. Napa,
yep.
He's got some properties, but and then stores. I do a lot of Gansett Wraps. I do the churches, St. Thomas, St. Mary's.
It's all over the place. Bigelow Plumbing LLC.
Yes,
Okay,
it is. And it's funny because people say, "Oh, I see a truck everywhere." It's like that's just me. It's not like 3 trucks.
That's just you. You have 1 truck.
I do, and it's.
Because how long has the business been going again?
I want to say 5.5 years now.
All right, so it's still growing.
It's grown. I just can't keep up with the influx of customer base. Is my only. It's really hard to find. We have to hire a licensed plumber in order to come in your house. So I can't just hire somebody off the street and send them to your house under my license. Exactly. It doesn't work like that.
So let's get into this too. We'll mention this probably a couple times as much as we continue to get to know Brian Bigelow here from Bigelow Plumbing LLC. You're looking for help as well. So why don't we were going to get into this later, but we'll mention it again down the road as well. But if someone's interested in doing something like this, how do they contact you and so on and so forth?
Yeah, they can reach out through my phone number. I don't know if you want me to just
go
that
ahead.
out. It's 860-377-6552, and that's the best way to get in touch with me.
860-377-6552.
Yes. And they have to be a licensed P2. I can't take on any apprenticeships right now, so I don't want to
Nothing like you did, so you can't.
Yeah, not at the moment. I need another actual plumber to get out and take some of these calls on. But then again, I'm also looking for somebody with good personality. There's a lot to look for because I'm very OCD. I'm very particular with customer base. Like, I wouldn't just come in your house and drop my tools on your floor without putting drop cloths down. So things like that I look for. It's not just a work ethic, So not to deter anybody, but
right.
I have a standard that keeps me in business with all these companies, all these places that I try to maintain.
So, who's working for you now? Didn't you have your brother was working with you, right?
He helps out if he came
helps
out.
out, okay.
Yeah, and then my son, he's in school, but he's actually off this semester, so I'll have him work a few days, and he's actually interested in doing the trade.
So that's good.
It is. It's a process. He's going to have to go through that whole, despite his degree.
How old's your son?
He is 21.
Tell us a little about what he interned
Brian
here, right?
Jr. Yeah,
my father told me he
yes, he did.
Right?
He interned here.
He interned at WI.
He's got a great radio voice, I guess. That's what your father had said.
Should have brought Brian Jr.
Yeah, to do my...
no, to help out. So tell us about Brian Jr. I know you said he's going to be helping out, but give us a little background on what he's up to.
He went through the Mansfield school system. After he graduated, E.O. Smith, he had went to Central. Okay. He lives in West Hartford on his own, and he's going to go back to Manchester Community College to finish off his degree in marketing. And then I mean, you never know what a teenager, we never know what we wanted at the time. I mean,
exactly.
I didn't know I'd be, but the plan is for him to potentially attend trade school.
So he is showing interest in the company with
the
Dad.
more he's learning, he is, yes.
Right.
So.
And I believe you have a daughter, right?
I do, Elizabeth. She's at Syracuse. She's a Division I runner. She's already made a name for herself.
That's what my father's telling me.
Yeah, she's and they were just both here for Thanksgiving.
That's great.
She's back at school.
What does she? She wants to run.
Yeah,
she's
marketing as well.
Marketing?
I don't know if they pushed out with this younger generation, but it seems they all want to go in marketing.
Syracuse is probably a good school for that.
It is.
With radio too.
It's a great campus. I went up a few times, and it's really beautiful. But she's happy. They're both great kids, and I know I'm a parent. I'm not just saying that because they are.
Oh, sure.
But they're well behaved, and that's
great.
all I ask for, and they're healthy. Simple things. But.
So Brian Bigelow's with us, episode 45 of Hometown Threads on WILI 1400, 95.3, and of course Willimantic Today Facebook, brought to you by Liberty Bank, be community kind. So you said it's been about 5 years for Bigelow Plumbing, LLC.
Correct.
How would you describe how the 5 years have gone? I mean, it's been, starting your own business it can be stressful. What else can you tell us about Bigelow Plumbing, LLC? What separates you from the other plumbers out there?
I think the personal commitment. I work for a lot of different people, from realtors to property owners, and I try to not shy away from people that I would get a bad feeling, but I give a personal experience. And, like we're talking right now, and if I felt there was some, uneasy, I would kind of just defer you off to somebody. Hey, I'm busy, but maybe you can. So I try to build a good rapport with my customers, and it's usually by, I look at it as, hey, I'm not just a plumber, but I'm a homeowner, and I know what it's like to, with inflation and everything else, and plumbers have the bad reputation that, oh my God, you got to call a plumber, but I try to tell people I'm in the middle.
Is there really a bad reputation for plumbers?
Well, everybody just.
Well, there's the plumber's crack. Tell us about the plumber's crack. I had to go.
I didn't even know that we could.
The plumber's crack. Anyway, so no.
I do wear a belt.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Brian does wear a belt. No plumber's crack with Bigelow Plumbing, LLC. All right, so no, what is seriously, there's a bad reputation that kind of,
well, it's just a stigma sort of that, plumbers are expensive. But it's, I try to stay in the middle. I know the high end of the spectrum with plumbing, and I know you got these guys with the low end, but the one thing when I worked for Ray Page that I did take with me is I'm licensed and insured, and that's something
very
you can
important.
just look up through Consumer Affairs. And the biggest thing with a lot of these guys is that they're not licensed, which it doesn't bother me because I'm overwhelmed. But just so you have peace of mind, if I'm coming in your house, that hey, at least this is a licensed and insured person.
I have an on-the-side DJ business, which my wife pretty much runs the business part end of things, and and the technical aspect. She likes to. I basically just got to show up and speak into She likes to do it anyway. But being insured, which my on-the-side DJ business is insured, and you mentioned that's very important.
It is. It's crucial because you don't want an accident. Number one, you're gonna ruin a reputation. It just creates negativity. So I try to look at everything as if it was my house. And you try to be cautious with everything. And the one thing you can't get in school is, what if this goes wrong? It's the uh-ohs, I won't do that again. You know what I mean? It's interesting because experience gives you everything you need with going into a new house or going to, one of these Willimantic Victorians where it's like, oh my God, it's a ripple effect. And I actually was in a good friend of yours, Sandy Carboni's.
Oh yeah, tell us this story.
Well, they have a beautiful house
Yep.
on I think it's Lewiston.
Up in the hill section,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And I had been out a few times, but the last time I had went there, he just wanted me to Harry wanted me to change a few valves out.
Harry didn't know how to do that?
Well, no, he does. I got to give him credit because he's very hands-on. But it was all galvanized piping, so it's all threaded. And the problem with that is it's a ripple effect. So if you loosen, you actually jar it down, say, another end. And so I'm cautious automatically going in, but it did happen, and it broke an elbow off in the wall. So now I had to take the whole side of her stairway out to access this. And they were great. I mean, it was,
Was this, now, it's been 5 years, so I'm sure you've done, would you say this is probably one of the biggest projects over your 5 years?
No, I've done a lot of dig jobs, so Dick's Automotive on 44 in stores.
Okay.
That was probably one of my bigger jobs, whereas we tied in water and sewer. So you got to get the state involved, you got to get, there's a lot to learn, but I like taking on these different challenges just to say, I can do this, or hey, I've done this. And I do a lot of well pumps. A lot of people don't realize that well pumps are a plumbing issue. They just assume these other companies that handle water treatment are only doing that, but water pumps are, and obviously a lot of these rural areas are all well pumps. But I do a lot of digs.
What are digs again?
So any kind of, like Dunkin' Donuts, say. A while back we did West Main and this one with repairing sewer mains.
Okay.
So we got to get a machine, have that dug out, call, whatever company.
And you do some of these by yourself?
Well, yeah, I'll bring in like a laborer.
Okay.
We're able to do that.
Oh, you can?
Yes, but it's just it's a lot involved. I'll bring in another company. I know your buddy Mike DeZonia. I had brought him in on a couple of jobs we did. So.
Oh, really? He does a little plumbing on the side?
Well, he does on the side here. We're all legitimate businesses.
Well, no, I meant. I
what
wasn't
you
sure that he was. I had no idea he was.
He gets because he's a sewer guy. So
Okay.
we had to do a sewer main there, and he was involved on that. We brought in Kyle Stearns.
Sure, I just saw Kyle the other day at the Knights of Columbus Coats for Kids drive.
Oh,
Before
really?
we get into Kyle, I got to tell you this because I'm Facebook friends with Kyle, but I've never met him in person.
Really?
Little sides, yeah. So I walk in, I say hi to Tim DeVivo and
Yep.
some of my fellow brother knights and all that, and because we partner with the Rotary for the Coats for Kids drive. And I was there on Saturday. I wasn't able to make the Friday. It was Friday and Saturday, and I introduced myself. I go, "Hi, I'm sorry." He goes, "Oh, Kyle Stearns. Hey, Keith C. Rice, Keith C. Rice, whatever." And I go, "Oh, nice to meet you, Kyle. It's Stearns family. I know the Stearns family. In fact, he's going to be a future guest on Hometown Threads. That's the reason why I'm telling you this. I'll just ask because you know him. I'll put you on the spot. Who does
Right.
Kyle Stearns look like? Picture him right now. Reason why I'm bringing this
What
up.
does he look like?
When I first saw him, like, wow.
Who
I
do
mean,
you
it's just-
envision? I'm going to throw that back.
All
there.
right,
Who
I
do
don't
you-
want to put you on the spot. Bradley Cooper.
Oh yes.
Holy
That's right.
smokes! Now,
Now that you mention it,
I mean, I'm just sitting there going, wow. I'm like, who did you? I'm like, oh my God, Bradley Cooper.
You'll have to
was
ask
it
him.
the Philadelphia Eagles game yesterday? Yeah, I was like, he goes, yeah, I've got that here and there. But anyway, so it's good to. So go ahead. You were telling me about Kyle Stearns. So he's.
yeah, I've used him in the past. I mean, it's the thing about what I do is, you intertwine with a lot of different people, and you just, you end up needing somebody down the
Great
road.
networking.
It is. It is because you'll have somebody ask for like an electrician or, just whatever, and I try to refer out good, reputable people at least because it keeps my name clear as well. But
What is? Let's see. What do toilets fall? I'm sorry, I just hit my coffee mug there.
which coffee mug is that?
People
by the way?
listening on the
Let's see
radio.
here.
Well, the
Oh,
Liberty
it's
Bank
not-
ones are for props.
that's
Use the
fine.
Liberty Bank.
All right. I'm just trying to get them to say
Angela
Liberty
across
Bank
the
again.
street, though, is probably Angela's working on Angela Smart across the street. Says, "Why don't we get Liberty Bank mugs for our guests?"
Ah.
So sorry, you
I
don't
work
have
for
one.
Angela's mom,
Okay.
so she's another
So
customer.
down the road, I may have to. I know you're not going to be able to get your mug down, so we'll have to
Yeah, yeah, see
get
if we
one,
can-
get one to you later. But anyway, thank you to Angela for that idea. But anyway, so where do toilets? How many toilets? Do you do a lot of toilet work? Sorry, I'm
Toilet work.
I'm
Is that
51.
part- is he throwing in?
Well, I don't know
another,
what the terminology is for plumbers. What do you? What's that
Are
fall
we
under?
stereotyped just for toilets? Is that what?
I don't-
And plumbers crack, right? Is that
Plumbers
what-
crack toilets. I'm 51 going on 12 here. No, where does seriously? Okay, here's a better way to ask this.
Sure.
What are the majority of tasks you get in the plumbing industry in your 5 years with Bigelow Plumbing LLC?
It's a broad spectrum of different, but depending on how I schedule stuff, and it seems things come in threes. And I don't know if it's just the irony of stuff, but water heaters, residential water heaters, toilets, faucets, whether it's a kitchen faucet, and bathroom remodels. I try to take them on lightly, only because it's time consuming when I have to be at other places.
Wow. Yeah, how you do it.
And you have to pull permits for everything. But
Lots to remember.
Joe, do that for Joe Smith.
Well,
But,
who's Joe Smith?
The town inspector.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, but no, seriously, it all depends. And I get, sometimes people call and say, "Oh, I don't know if this job is too little." There's never a job too little because ultimately I want a customer base, and my thing is I want to be your plumber for life. That's where that slogan
That should
comes
be.
in.
I was going to say that's your slogan.
It
right?
is. It is my
There's,
slogan.
what is
That
it?
way-
No, there's no job too little.
Well, I don't know how. I know
Is
what
it
you're
that's
trying
a-
to say. Yeah, there's no job too small or too
That's a
or
good
too
slogan.
big. And but toilets, a lot of times I like to have people look at what they like online, just because Amazon and everything else is so available for everybody today. So it gives them a chance to look at something. I'll say, hey, give me a call if you like something. I'll look at it. If it works, we can do it. Otherwise, I use primarily Willimantic Wind Supply here for a lot of my business, and sometimes Granite Group of Colchester. I don't know if
wow.
I can say.
Ah,
names,
sure.
But it's so I give people the options, and there's never anything too small. You know.
I like that. I like that. So what was the slogan you've been using for years?
Yeah, no, you're a plumber for life.
Oh, okay.
Actually, one of my customers came up with
I love that.
a long
Wow.
time ago, and I said, you know what, I like that.
But next time you cut a commercial, there's no job too small. Slide that in there
You're right.
too.
Yeah.
Look, I
Well,
can write copy besides do a talk show. Oh, go ahead. So where's
I mean, there's so much, but no, ultimately, I love what I do. I wish I would have did this decision early on in life, but I grew up a single mom, one younger brother. I was the oldest, so I took on the responsibility of fixing things, or
good for you?
Yeah, well, I think it's got me into what I do today,
Yeah.
ultimately. But yeah, no, I was a single mom, so I was fortunate to go to school, college. I didn't finish. I went to Johnson Wales for 3
That's
years.
right, Johnson & Wales.
So I have over an associate's level, but I had decided one day that I don't want to sit in an office. I know this is your thing.
Well,
You're like,
this
but
isn't
you're
an
on the
office.
radio. So
Nah,
this is-
this isn't an office.
Well,
Well, Matt actually sits in an office and he does that, but
you get what
exactly.
I like to be out.
You don't want to sit in a
and-
cubicle
yeah.
and right, exactly.
And mechanically inclined, it was natural to me. So I like to figure things out. I like to help people out. Not necessarily I'm going to come in and say, because I work for those companies that you come in, it's like, we got to replace everything, or we got to do this, because to them, and I can tell you a funny story.
Oh, we
I don't
love
know-
funny stories.
So when I first met this company, I don't want to say any names, I went to them, I gave him my resume, I talked to him for 10 minutes, and he shook my hand and said, "You're hired." I said, "You didn't even look at my resume." He says, "You're good looking and you're personable." He says, "That's what sells in the marketing world." And not in say that sort of way, but just the fact that I'm not, say, whatever, stereotype with tattoos, or not that there's anything wrong with that. I feel like Seinfeld. Seinfeld. But no, so I always took that and I said, wow, so they look at this as a marketing strategy. Whereas I come in and I'm looking at it like, Colin Rice had, or not Colin, your dad, but yeah, I do work for your dad. Let's say your dad, or Keith Rice.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
I don't want to date you now, but but Keith Rice has, your budget for your monthly plan, and we don't just all have money sitting around. So I understand that, and I try to put that in perspective. Unfortunately, with inflation on the price of, material and everything else, it's it bites us all. But I try to be reasonable with people. I don't have one flat rate where I come in. I don't do hourly. I kind of look at a job and I say, roughly, this is what you're looking at, this much. I learned a long time ago, you don't come in a house, if it's decrepit, you say, oh, I'm not going to, these people, or if, vice versa, you come in a house and it's beautiful, I'm charging these people more. No, but if you didn't offer me a drink if I'm in your house, I'll charge you a little more.
So yeah, you have to determine a certain rate. I guess you just that's part of the get to know.
It's a
part
personal,
with the customer,
it's a
right? You sit
personal
down, you
basis.
work out a rate,
Yeah.
depending what the project is. And
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, pretty much. It's,
All right, our final few minutes here. Quickly, what's your? I got a few questions. We're going to go over about because Brian's looking for help. We'll hit on that again. What's your brother doing these days?
My brother's been at UPS for about 30 years, I want to say.
No kidding.
Yes.
What's his name again?
Eric. He's in
Okay.
Dartmouth, Mass.
Okay.
So he's
still in
Massachusetts, yeah. My parents are all going, so it's just my brother and I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you do such a great job, and our guest here in episode 45 of Hometown Threads has been Brian Bigelow from Bigelow Plumbing LLC. In the final few minutes, I'd like to give my guest any closing thoughts, people you'd like to thank, and then I want to get back to your need for help with the company. So right now, any people you want to thank on this journey of yours? And
Yeah, obviously all my customers for rating me in that number 2. I'm very thankful for that. And then again, you guys for having me on the radio, and just this community. I like being part of it, and I'd like that to continue and grow. So I do appreciate that. And obviously my family for being supportive, which would be my children and my girlfriend, Elizabeth, who's in
Excellent.
Fall River. And yes, I am looking for help. If you're a licensed P2 only, though, because I need to.
licensed P2 only.
Yes.
Okay.
And give me a call, 860-377-6552.
Now, but we can find you on Facebook. Does Bigelow Plumbing have a Facebook page?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook through, try my name, Brian with a Y, B-R-Y-A-N.
B-R-Y-A-N.
Bigelow.
B-I-G-E-L-O-W.
Yes, correct.
So you can look for you on Facebook, and I don't know, throw out a quick email if you want. Do you have a?
Yeah, it's Brian S. Bigelow at yahoo.com, and that's with a Y. And yeah, Facebook, you can reach out, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please be patient. because I'm a little overwhelmed, but I do,
And one more quick question,
Yes.
as we probably in the final minute here. What did my parents have to get done? I'm just curious. What was
Am I
it?
supposed to be divulging?
Oh wait, it's a person.
wasn't a toilet.
It's a client.
It was a kitchen faucet.
It was
And
a
they
kitchen.
they
That's
love
right.
it.
My mother told me. She goes, "Oh, Brian was just here working on the kitchen faucet."
So
And I'm sure this building, 720 Main Street. Well, here on the first level, they've had a share of issues over the
yeah,
years.
but we've got it
That's
maintained.
right.
We got it good.
There's no job.
Too small.
All right, I like
Too
that
big.
slogan. And what's the other slogan?
You're a plumber for life.
I love it.
Excellent.
Brian Bigelow,
Thank you,
Bigelow
Colin.
Plumbing LLC, our guest for episode 45 on Hometown Threads. Big thanks to Brian, J. Matt Rupar, Willimantic Today, Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And in the words of the great Roddy McCumber, bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.